It's Creativa Artley here, and man, do I hate making videos like this. So recently, the YouTuber Omnia put out a video on trauma versus drama, and basically, it says anything that doesn't cause like substantial PTSD isn't a true trauma. Newsflash, that's not true. While some of the stuff that has happened to me has caused PTSD, some of it hasn't, but it's all traumatic nonetheless. Like, being bullied for 7 to 8 years, it messes with you. It makes you scared to make new friends. It makes you scared to trust anyone. And that's just as bad as being physically hurt, harmed, or abused. It mentally fricks with you in the same exact way. And it takes a lot to come back out of that shell. Her saying anything that doesn't equate to PTSD at it being a drama and not a trauma, that hurts. That makes me feel invalidated. Honestly. Because of all the incidents I've been through, sure, only one has led to lingering PTSD, but the other stuff has still left me traumatized as well, even if it's not shown. And her video downplays that a lot. Like, a lot. Like, because all my bullies got physical in some way or another. The only one where it actually caused PTSD is when a girl literally strangled me. As it should. As it did. But that still doesn't mean the other stuff wasn't bad as well. Like, bullies do some bad things. Like, I had 2 boys that would just stalk me around class, even when the coaches at school told them not to. Another drew my hair with a Sharpie. And just other things of that ilk. Like, bullying is traumatic, regardless of the severity of it. And to call that drama and not trauma is degrading, and it minimizes it. And I don't think Omnia realizes that, because she's only seeing the abuse end as the actual trauma. And that's very gatekeepy and very wrong and very naive. It really is. Like, I am not invalidating the fact that she was abused by her former boyfriend at all. Because we all know she was, and we all feel sorry for her for that. That being said, after something like that happens to you, you shouldn't come out on the internet and say that anything that isn't stalking or physical abuse does, like, it all equates to trauma. All of it. Absolutely all of it. Like, where did her thinking go flawed? Like, where's the flaw in her thinking? Bullying is just as much traumatizing as being physically hurt is. Among other things. And it's like, I don't think she gets that. Like, something just isn't connecting in her brain on that note. And that makes me really mad and angry and frustrated and upset. Because other people's traumas and experiences shouldn't be put to the wayside. Just worry about, like, then on the whole Emily part of the video, I do want to touch on this again a sec. Emily only reached out to the internet because her police weren't, like, the police in her town weren't doing squat. And the best way she could prove what was happening to her was to document it online and to share it with her community and to let people know, hey, this person did this to me, hey, this is what's happening. That's the only reason it's online. It was trying to get some action somewhere. And to explain the truth of what really happened to her. Her being stalked and her family being harassed by Creepshow and Creepshow's boyfriend is just as much trauma as anyone else's story who has suffered something significantly. One trauma isn't worse than another. Something that you don't consider as bad is not necessarily not a trauma. It still can be. Like I said, being bullied for 7 years leaves a mental scar in the same way a stranglehold that causes PTSD leaves a mental scar, as is my case. It's all trauma. It's all the same. There's no division line. There never has been. It all mentally scars you. And I just wish she'd realize that. And, admit that she was wrong. And admit that everyone's trauma is valid in its own way. Instead of this whole gatekeeping mess. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully it's happier than this. Bye-bye.